Linus.
I'm Jana.
I'm Sophie.
And this little dog is Daly.
Last year, we sailed to the Bahamas. I didn't take any videos, but I wrote a book about it. This year, we're sailing around the world part-time to Panama and Point South. I met Stevie through a crew matching service. When we get to Panama, Sophie and Jana will come aboard. I tried diving the anchor in St. Pete, but it was too deep for me. The next day it was time to head south to Venice and my parents' house.
So after our 2-day passage from Pensacola to St. Petersburg, Florida, I discovered as I wanted to run the water maker that there was a ton of water in the bilge. Before we departed, Jana and I discovered that the bilge pump was running because the float switch was on. But today I tested the bilge pump manually. It ran. But with the float switch up, it would not run, so I think the float switch has given up the ghost. So I'm going to put this new one in today, and we'll see if that fixes the float switch problem. Wish me luck. Alright, here's the old pump and the new pump, the old rule, new sea flow. Hopefully if I attach the fittings, then it'll work, and the old one just burned out. But if not, then there's maybe a connection problem, which could be more difficult, or possibly a fuse problem.
After rewiring it, I realized that we had left the bilge pump on off position, and that's why the float switch was not working. Unfortunately, as soon as I got done with that project, the cooling light went on, and when I looked at the cooling and alternator belts, it was clear the alternator belt was way too loose and cracked and broken, and that belt turns the water pump and water pump belt. We had to tack out to sea, and we delayed our entrance into Venice Inlet by about 2 hours while I fixed that problem. I like Venice Inlet. It is a quick in and quick out to the anchorage. The only problem with the anchorage is that you need to draw 4 feet or less, otherwise you will surely run aground. I dropped off Stevie at my parents' house, where he slept for the next 3 days and got good access to their Wi-Fi. The dock of the boat launch is only about 100 yards away from where we anchored, but you can't keep your boat overnight, so I slept on the boat and focused on engine maintenance, reprovisioning, getting water and fuel over the next 3 nights before we went offshore to Cabo San Antonio, Cuba. On the way to the Bahamas, we stayed at the Crow's Nest, but this time we're just using it to get gas, diesel, and water. It is very close to the anchorage. You can't miss it when you enter the inlet, and it has a talking parrot, Pepe.
Hi.
That's a fun one.
Hello, pretty bird. Hello, Pepe. Hello.
The Heigl Marine Park is right next to the Venice Yacht Club and next to the Youth Boating Association. I saw many optimists while I was at anchor, but I didn't see any youths in them. All the sailors I saw were retirees. My book, How to Sail Around the World Part-Time, hit number 1 in the sailing category on Amazon while we're in Venice. Because the boat was floating in 5 feet, I was able to dive the anchor. In the next episode, me and Stevie motor and sail through near calms in the Gulf of Mexico to one of the remotest places in Cuba, Cabo San Antonio. And there we meet the Slow Boat Sailing Podcast episode 4 guest, Addison Chan, after our longest passage yet of 3 days. Don't forget to subscribe to the Slow Boat Sailing YouTube channel.